Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. If you cast your mind back to November of last year, William Zepeda got quite a shock with the former IBF super featherweight champion, Tevin Farmer. Now, Farmer was considered to be past his best. He had a long time out of the ring, but he came back, I think, against, is it Raymond Muratalo? I know he lost. No, he had a few fights, I think, before that one. He had about 3 years out of the ring. So he lost to Jojo Diaz, and then he had a few wins against journeyman, and then he lost to Raymond Muratalo in June, July, mid last year, I think it was. And then he fought William Zepeda at the end of the year. And because he'd lost to Muratalo, people were thinking, this Zepeda's flying, he's undefeated, he should be able to get rid of Farmer, stop him maybe. Not a bit of it. In fact, Zepeda was on the floor in the fourth round from the supposedly light punching Farmer. And a lot of people thought that he deserved that win. It was a split decision in favour of Zepeda. To be honest with you, I thought Farmer won that fight. So a rematch was inevitable, and it took place in Cancun. And again, Zepeda won on what was on the cards, a close decision. It was a majority decision. One of the judges had it 114, which is 6 rounds each. Then it was a 116, 112, which to me sounds more like a realistic card, and a 115, 113. I thought this was a 116, 112, 117, 111 fight, but in favour of Zepeda. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because Farmer's ability to soak up punishment and pain is otherworldly. It's amazing. And it's quite astonishing that early on in his career, he actually suffered a couple of stoppage defeats. He was stopped by a fellow debutant back in 2011 in 4 rounds. I don't know who this guy, and Jose Zepeda was undefeated. He stopped him in 8 rounds. That was an 8-rounder. That was in 2012. So in the first, year roughly of being a pro, he got 2 stoppage defeats on his record. Now, he started late boxing, and I think he was 19 when he started. But talk about, incremental, well, not even incremental, more like quantum leaps forward. He's done fantastically well, and picked up the IBF super featherweight championship, and made several defences. I think he made three defences, was it? Maybe more than that, maybe 3. But he beat people like John O'Carroll, James Tennyson. He lost it to Jojo Diaz. But you can make a strong case for him. He should be technically a 2-time world champ, because the 2 fights with Zepeda were for the WBC interim lightweight title. I don't think that's a real world championship, but it would have been, just regardless of the belt, it would have been good if Farmer could have maybe got the rub of the green in that first fight. I thought he lost this second fight, but there were extenuating circumstances, namely that Farmer appeared to injure either his elbow or his hand in the second round, which was a particularly hellish round for him, because it might have been a punch to the elbow. I mean, I'm doing this video 5 minutes, 10 minutes after I've watched the fight, so I haven't looked back at it. I never do when I do my reviews, because I don't like to second guess myself or, subconsciously rewrite history. But there may have been a punch to the elbow or something like that. But clearly he was distressed. And in the last 40 seconds of that second round, Zepeda put it on him, and Farmer was looking really ragged. And you were thinking, this is going to be an early night. Zepeda had started very, very quickly. He is a notoriously fast starter and throws incredible barrages of punches. But Farmer, as in the first fight, was slipping and sliding and moving in and out of range and sidestepping and lots of herky-jerky feints. And He was doing pretty much the same thing. It's just that he happened to get caught in that second round and injured. Now you thought, this can't go on. It really can't. But in the fifth round, it was more of the same. I mean, Farmer was clearly in agony. He was battered and beaten and almost stopped. I mean, the ref could have jumped in and stopped it. And as he went back to his corner, you thought either he's going to quit or his corner are going to pull him out. But it didn't happen. He took an age to sit down on his stool. I mean, he probably only had about 20 seconds on the stool before he had to get back up again. But there was clearly a lot of pain. He had some sort of injury. And yet he came out in the sixth round and won it. He won the sixth round. I don't know how he did it. It's almost like, I guess there is the adrenaline rush that keeps you going. But it's almost as if he thought, right, during that 3 minutes, I'm not even going to acknowledge the pain. Between the rounds, I can cry my eyes out. I don't care. And there's no doubt that as the fight progressed, Zepeda was winning the rounds, or most of them. But Farmer was making it so awkward and was having little pockets of success that, like I say, I mean, I probably gave him about 4 rounds. Now, Zepeda himself, I mean, he didn't have any great injuries, but he had a bloody nose. I think it was an uppercut. Bloodied his nose, and that was, I think, maybe the 6th round, 7th, 8th round. And you can't really, a bloody nose in a boxing ring is nothing, is it? I mean, that's sort of par for the course. But I have to say, I thought Farmer was, even though he did lose this fight, I thought it was really, striking how unbelievably tough he was. And Zepeda must have thought during the fight, even though he was, clearly winning, he must have thought, what do I have to do to get rid of this guy? It's unbelievable. Both these guys, by the way, are southpaws, so they kind of negated the left-handedness. Zepeda now, 33 wins with 27 KOs, no draws, no defeats, 28 years old, Mexican fighter, obviously, and he is a threat because he throws so many punches. He's got such a high output. But against a mover, someone who has, some slick skills like Tevin Farmer, but also has some power to go with it, I think he might get found out. He's not a bad fighter at all, Zepeda, don't get me wrong. I just think that maybe he's not gonna do too much. I mean, what is he, lightweight? I'm trying to think of the other lightweight fighters. I would call Zepeda an A- fighter, not an A+ fighter. Farmer himself is a solid B-level guy. I mean, probably a B+ guy, I'd say, Farmer. And with plenty left, even though he's 34 now. And you would think, he's past his best. He's one of those fighters where you keep waiting for things to collapse on him, for him to get old overnight. There's no evidence of it. And these 2 fights with Zepeda will probably make him, president of the Who Needs Him club, because no one's going to want a bit of Farmer now, because he's taken Zepeda the distance twice, a split decision and a majority decision. I feel a bit sorry for Tevin Farmer. And, bear in mind that less than a year ago, he lost to Raymond Muratalla as well. So he's had 3 defeats on the bounce. Muratalla, by the way, is still undefeated in 22. But Farmer's had 3 defeats on the bounce. And yet he's probably going to be stuffed into that gatekeeper role. You've got to be really good to beat him. Otherwise, he'll beat you. But I still think he's probably got some sort of belt in him, like another chance of another world title. It wouldn't surprise me at all. As for Zepeda, yeah, he can win belts. He can win a belt. He's got one, hasn't he? He's got the interim belt, but he's a fun fighter to watch. He'll get work. He's promoted by Golden Boy. Farmer doesn't have the big promoter behind him. But yeah, this was a good fight. Would I watch a third version of this, a third fight? Farmer deserves it, to be honest, but I don't think they'll go for that. I think they'll move Zepeda on to something else. Well, at the end, Farmer was saying he thought he won. I don't think he did at all, but nevertheless, it was, it was a good, entertaining fight, and I would watch it again. I would watch it again. I think their styles very, very contrasting, but mysteriously they sort of gel in a weird way to provide action. But what do you think? Did you watch this fight? Do you disagree with me? Did you think the fight was close enough for Farmer to get maybe a draw or even a narrow win? Let me know what you think about Zepeda. How far do you think he can go? I'm not entirely convinced, but he is a good fighter. And what's next for him? Tell me who you'd like to see him in with at lightweight. So, thank you very much for listening to this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm eager to read your comments, as always. Always makes for good bedtime reading. And I'll answer as many as I can. All right? Go and have a look at this fight. It's on DAZN. Tell me what you think. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And as usual, bye for now.